Guys, we have here Kyle McCoy. So Kyle has exited his e-commerce business. And so we'll be talking basically how he built it, how he exited the whole process. So you got like 450,000?
So it's kind of a funny deal how, it's structured. It's not just kind of like, the full amount paid out right away. So the problem I ran into was because my business is a Canadian business. I can't, any American buyers can't get SPA funding for it. So basically the buyer had to just use all of his cash pretty much. So it was listed for 470,000. And then, he obviously lowballed the first offer, whatever. I came back and we met at the middle at 425,000.
I posted 450, so it's 420.
Yeah, but I actually end up getting more than that. So the way the deal's structured, I'm going to actually end up getting more than my asking price even. So nice. What happened is because he can't get funding for it, I get 425,000 USD up front. And then basically the rest of the 200,000 is amortized over 10 years with a 5-year balloon payment. So end of the 5 years, I basically get paid out, and every month I'm going to get like a $2,300 payment. And the good thing about that is I'm charging a 6% interest on that. So so once the 6% and at the end of 5 years, I think the total with interest comes up to like 475K, something like that, which is $5,000 over asking, which is pretty sweet.
Cool. So is there like any are you still staying with the business, or it's like fully it's kind of like you just fully disattached from it?
Yeah, I'm fully disattached from it. The only thing that I'm doing over the next month is just giving training to the new buyer. But other than that, he has full control of everything. So
cool. Awesome. And so how did you you joined ESS, when your business was at what level?
Kind of, at its mid-level when I joined ESS. And then, everything that I'd learned in there, I'd, taken it to a little bit higher of a level. And, that's kind of when, we had some calls and I was kind of considering selling it and stuff like that. And you had directed me to Isaac from Website Closers.
Cool, man. So your business is in jewelry, right?
Yeah, correct.
Cool. So how long you been running it?
I was running it from right now, basically till Tuesday when I transferred it. It was just over a year. So it had started in September of 2020.
So September 2020. Yeah. So it's
just over a year old.
Cool, man. So who's the buyer? Is the buyer sophisticated?
No, not at all. No, he and that's the painful thing for me with the training is he's just kind of he's a 50-year-old guy, and I kind of help him learn how to use a computer also. So a little bit difficult, but it is what it is. He wanted to get into e-commerce. So
sometimes when people are very are very sophisticated, it also it makes it more difficult because then they kind of go very granular and they ask you very, very specific things. So I think it's kind of it's good and bad.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think it kind of goes both ways for that. One thing that that's very important that I learned from this whole thing was buyers vet the sellers, but I think it's actually also super important for sellers to vet the buyers because, this guy has kind of been, even the brokers and everything have kind of said that, he was pretty demanding. So it was a very long process. And, just because he's super new, he wasn't, exactly for sure what to look at. And, he just wasn't really sure about that. So he was kind of doing things that, necessarily might not have made too much sense, but, it was all for his peace of mind, I guess. So.
Oh man. So in terms of other projects, so what do you want to do now? So after you've exited, what do you want to do?
I'm kind of getting into NFTs and stuff like that, just like everybody. But, I think there's a huge opportunity there. And, I kind of see it almost like e-commerce in a sense. So when me and my buddy, we're making a project and, I kind of look at it the same way as an e-commerce store because basically you have a website and you have to do all the marketing and build a community basically, and you have to sell all these products straight from your website. So I kind of look at it the same way as I did as e-commerce. So that's kind of where pivoting to right now.
Business was jewelry. So what was your kind of like what is a niche? Like did you like choose like specific niche, or did you test like a lot of like products? How did you scale it?
Honestly, when I first started, it was just like a single product store, and I had only tested this one product on it. Like this was the first product that I tested on it, and yeah, basically, I started running some ads on it, just doing some, testing some creatives and stuff like that. And basically it just started to, perform like right off the bat. So I kind of knew I had something there, and basically just kept, expanding the marketing and throwing some more money into Facebook ads and stuff like that. And the first, I think I got like the first sale like midway through September 2020, and I did $5,000 or so in revenue till the end of September. And then the second month it went from $5,000 in 2 weeks all the way up to like $35,000 in the second month. So it went up pretty quick right off the bat, and kind of just kept going up a little bit here and there from there.
What would you do like differently, right? Like if you were to start like a new brand, like what would you do differently this time?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I think the way it started was pretty solid, and I kind of use those same strategies these days. Like I found the product on AdSpy. I have a background in graphic design and everything like that, so I feel like I'm able to create brands and all the graphics and everything that you need pretty well. So yeah, I think I'd probably pretty much follow the same framework that I did that one. It seemed to work pretty well. The only thing that I might change is just kind of the way I started off with Facebook, just because it was like my first store that actually started to work. So I was pretty reluctant to scale Facebook ads aggressively. So this time, with any new stores, I might just start to scale a little bit more aggressively sooner on.
So Facebook was like a main traffic channel for you?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think someone on our team said that you're very like precise with like how you manage your ads, and kind of like you develop your own kind of like structure for that. For you, in terms of scaling the business before exit, what were some of the big movers?
Honestly, creative. That was like the number one thing that I found that made the biggest difference. Like it was kind of weird over the summer in, I think, July, the store had like a huge dip in revenue, and it went all the way down to like $35,000. When it was averaging like around 40 to 55 grand a month. And I'm not sure exactly why. It was just overall a bad month for Facebook or something like that. But in August, I just basically started testing all sorts of new creatives and stuff like that. And that was actually the highest revenue month that it did. And I think it got just shy of 80 grand that month. So yeah, that was kind of like the most important thing, was continuing to just refresh the creatives and make sure all the audiences aren't just seeing the same thing over and over again.
So how did you source your creatives?
I just made them all myself. So with jewelry, personally, I found image ads always worked better than video ads. And the main reason I think that is with a video, it's kind of hard to see a piece of jewelry in detail unless you literally just have like B-roll shots of the jewelry. It can, be kind of boring also sometimes. So I think, just having a really nice photo that, shows off the details and everything of the jewelry. That worked really well for me. And I think it was just because it was, a static ad that people could, sit there and stare at the jewelry and look at it and, see it in its full detail instead of, a video just showing an angle for a second and then going to another angle for a second and then going far out and stuff like that, where people can't really fully see the item too easily.
We got a question here. Did you face any challenges after iOS 14? How were you able to combat it to scale?
Initially, I didn't. After iOS 14 first came out, I actually was getting better performance, which I was, pretty happy about. But over the last few months, that's when I had really seen the biggest issues. And, Facebook was just mistracking like crazy. Like a campaign in my ads manager would say I have 20 purchases, but the Shopify only shows like 10 purchases or something like that. So what I initially started doing was Serhi had given me a bunch of URL parameters to put in my ads. So I did that, and I was, kind of cross-referencing, Shopify, Google Analytics, and then also the Shopify reports. That was all right, but the problem with that is, your Shopify store says one thing, your Shopify Analytics say one thing, and then Google Analytics say another thing. So what I was doing was, honestly, I was just kind of taking the average of, all of those and kind of just using that. But what I used after that was Cometly. And that was, that was working pretty well for me, mainly just for the fact that it seemed pretty accurate. And, I didn't have to look through all these 3 different sources and kind of, take an average. And, it was just a lot more work.
So Cometly worked pretty well for you?
Yeah, it did.
Cool. Yeah, guys, I'll share Cometly, by the way, here as well. If you need solutions for tracking, it's probably one of the best, in my opinion. We've got some other questions here. Do you test your creatives in like new ad sets? Like, did you test your creatives like in new ad sets or like existing ad sets?
Yeah, I just used them in new ad sets. So I had kind of like a sandbox creative testing campaign, and I would always just throw them in new ad sets and everything like that.
So another question here: did you set up micro conversion events like initial checkout? What all events have you set up on your store?
Yeah, I have all like the micro conversions events, like initiate checkout, add to cart, view content, all the standard ones.
Yeah, I think that's a good question here. How did you balance sourcing your own creatives with other aspects of running a business?
Honestly, everything with the business was pretty much automated. So, my fulfillment agent, he's awesome because he's able to basically drop ship for me, but he orders the inventory by himself. So he just kind of, will order a bunch of inventory, stock it for me, and then just sell it off whenever orders come in, and then just bill me at the end of every week, basically. Then all the customer service and everything like that is automated as well. I have a virtual assistant that, basically takes care of everything. So pretty much the only thing that I had to do was just, focus on marketing and, some other things here and there. But, marketing was pretty much like the main thing that I did. So just making all my own creatives and stuff like that was
from China or from the US?
I had a warehouse in both. So I shipped worldwide. So most orders came from China, but I did have inventory in a US warehouse to ship to all orders that were in the US.
What was your initial Facebook ads testing process like? Can you walk me through that all the way to the point of scaling, please?
Sure. So honestly, it was super simple. When I first tested this product, I was still pretty new at, e-commerce. I had never had a store that, popped off at all. So, I was still kind of in that phase of, hopefully this one works. I'd had like 6 or 7 other stores that I had made before this one that, just spent a couple grand on Facebook ads and didn't work at all. So the initial testing phase was basically just, putting 2 creatives in some ad sets and, just doing, single interest ad sets and having like 5 to 10, interests in each campaign and, have a few campaigns running and, basically just seeing which interests started working. And then basically once, I found a bunch of interests that started working, I pretty much just duplicated them into, either a new CBO or ABO and just basically increase the budget and, just continuously increase the budget by like 20-25%, every 1 to 2 days. And that was kind of the initial testing and scaling phase.
Cool. So like, since you started, because the way I think about it, right? Like, so you start a business, right? Everyone, like, let's say someone has like e-commerce business, like so you make a profit, right? Like as you're running it. And then like when you're selling it, I mean, you make even more. I mean, you kind of like, it's like a profit multiplier, right? So
exactly. Yeah.
Since you started that business, like from September 2020, so how much in profit have you made until the point you sold the business?
I think it was around like 130 to 140 net, something like that. It was around 20% overall net.
And then you sold it, and that's another like. That's another like 400. I mean, kind of like broken down.
And like the initial escrow is 225K. So, I get that right away. And then the next is, over 5, the rest is over 5 years.
In terms of because someone's asking, I say people would say, what ad strategies were you using to hit 450K in a day? Right?
I don't know about that, man. I'm still working on that one.
So yeah, it's kind of like it's different, right? It's when you sell the business, this is when you get paid this much, right?
I feel like whenever you sell the business, that's where the real money's at.
Cool. So what was your hiring order? Did you hire anyone at all, or you were doing everything by yourself?
I just have one VA, basically. I hired her through Upwork. Basically, how I did that was I made just obviously a job posting on Upwork. Tons of people apply to it, and you kind of look through a bunch of resumes and try and find, some solid ones. And I put a bunch of questions in there just to see if people actually read the whole job ad. And there's kind of a few little things in there. Like, if you've read all the way to the job ad, basically put your reply starting with like, a specific word or something like that, just so you can see that they read the whole thing. So, any of them that didn't say that, I basically just got rid of them right away. And it was just kind of a little bit of faster way to, go through all the applications. And basically just hired a couple people off the bat and, tested them both out, and one sucked and one was great. And I just stuck with the one that was really good ever since.
Hey guys, people have been asking me how we scale to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook. And we have a very sophisticated solution for this that I want to share with you, but it's just like too valuable to give away for free. So if you guys want this solution, just book a call with one of my team members and we'll show you exactly what it is and how it works, and we'll see if that's a good fit for you and for your business. So just book a call with my team member. We'll share it with you so you can scale your business to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook, without having inconsistency, and with high profitability. So just book a call with my team and I'll see you there. Please describe the creative framework you use.
Since I have like a background in graphic design, creating all this stuff is super easy for me. So I basically, go into either Adobe.
It's good for you. You're talented in that aspect, right? Like, what if someone is not? What would you do?
See, the problem with that is, with drop shipping, it doesn't really seem like there's many places that you can source image ads. For example, for me, image ads work way better. So, all these video ad companies, all the image ads they make are honestly just kind of not good at all. So what I would do is I would probably go to Upwork, and try and find some sort of graphic designer on Upwork. And then that way you can, get a lot more stuff for, substantially less money. Mm-hmm. Then you can also get stuff that's, a lot more customized and tailored to you. And, you can fine tune it here and there, change a little color or something like that a lot easier than one of these big, video ad companies.
I would also and that's what we found for ourselves in terms of sourcing content, like using your local network, like if photographers, like videographers, mm-hmm. like locally, like oftentimes that works like pretty well. Like you send them the product and they can do lifestyle photos. If they have like a studio, they can do in the studio. So even like using your local network, everyone knows like good like photographer like or videographer just like within their network.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's I think it's just about like kind of like being creative with this, like not getting like like how to source content. Just be creative, like send your
exactly like and if you have a friend that does any stuff like that, or you can use apps like Canva's kind of just like a super easy Photoshop to use basically. So, stuff like that, like, exactly like you said, just be creative and try and find any way to do it that works for you.
All right. So another question, did you plan on selling your store when you started? What made you sell the store versus scaling it to high revenues? It's a good question.
No, honestly, when I started the store, I didn't plan on selling it at all. It was kind of, right at the beginning of the pandemic when, I really started wanting to get into e-commerce. So I had lived in a lake town by my house or by my city a few hours away or whatever for a summer. And, I'd almost just spent all my money on that summer.
Like in the Rocky Mountains?
Yeah. It's Kelowna, BC. It's, beautiful place. And beautiful. I just lived there with my friends for the whole summer and almost spent all my money. And, I came back home and, I had to, I only had a few grand left and I had to just figure out a way how to make money, either get a job or, just.
So you didn't have a lot of capital when you started this,
No, not at all. I literally had $3,000 to my name. Plus I had all my, bills and everything that are always coming out. So, that wouldn't have lasted long. So yeah, really happy that, this started working and it kind of carried me over, throughout the last year or so. And, I'd created a couple other brands and stuff like that. And, just kind of been going from there.
So before that, you didn't have like any e-commerce experience at all?
A very, very small amount. Nothing like no big successes or anything like that. Basically, sorry, my alarm was just going off. So I had started like a coffee brand and I was selling coffee beans. And I did about $2,000 of sales with that. And then I actually ended up selling that store on Shopify Exchange for like $5,000. And I had done, a few other stores and, tested a bunch of projects and stuff like that. And, they never ended up working out. So, I came back home after that summer and, started testing more products and, building another store. And that was the one that I just sold.
That's awesome. And so another question here, how did you organize your cash management? How are you keeping track of spend, inventory, employees, etc.?
Best way that I organized all my cash management was using like the accounting app QuickBooks. So basically just attach all of your credit cards to it, your bank accounts, everything to it. And it kind of just, you can categorize everything, all of the charges and everything like that. So that made it much easier because you could kind of see everything in one place. And then how was I keeping track of spend? I guess, I was pretty much just in Ads Manager like every day, just making sure I wasn't accidentally.
I think this is impressive. I mean, the amount is not that large, like 450 Gs, but as for like kind of like for a first like bigger success, it's like getting from like literally like zero.
Yeah.
Like making 130 profit during that period of time. Plus, the exit now is like literally 300 plus that you got
Yeah.
kind of like you pay from it like clean, and then like those payments over the next few years, that just shows you like the power of like being like in e-commerce or any of these like industries like
Yeah.
that, where you can like literally start from like nothing, and within like a
Mhm.
year, a little bit over the year, like getting to a very like decent, like that
Yeah, a
never was.
position where you have capital and everything to start new projects, and not be as stressed about things not working right off the bat.
For sure. So what made you decide to start in the jewelry niche?
Honestly, it was just AdSpy. I found a product that was doing really well. It looked on AdSpy. I was checking out the website, and it was a really nice website and a great idea, and it supported the social mission. So that was the main reason why I got into there. Was just that was the product that I found on AdSpy that I kind of wanted to test out.
So you found someone else doing well with exactly the same product?
Yeah. And I basically completely replicated his whole framework and everything like that. And just kind of started working. And then, I kind of customized my website a little bit more to try and, improve on areas where I think his website kind of lacked. That was how started in jewelry.
That's awesome. What elements of ESS had the biggest impact on you scaling, exiting the business?
Honestly, Serhi was amazing. Anytime I ever had issues or anything like that, he's a genius with Facebook ads. So he was able to always help me out with that. And just all the contacts that you guys have is, definitely, I would say that's like the biggest benefit that, I got out of the whole ESS program was just, you setting me up with like meetings with people or giving me, some contact information. We were on one of the group calls or whatever, and I was talking to you about wanting to sell the store, and you said you were buddies with a guy that owned a brokerage, and that was Isaac from Website Closers, and you sent us an email asking if we could connect, and basically we did, and that led us to the sale.
At what price range do you choose product?
So the initial product I was selling was $29.95, and obviously had like the 50% off. So it was the price was showing at $60 and selling it for $30 basically. So and one important thing I was doing with that too was my whole as soon as you get to the website, I had like a buy two get one free offer. So that really helped to bump up the AOV to around like $50 because people buy two of the bracelets, then the order is $60 and the cost only goes up like $2 for that. So that was the biggest thing that helped keep the whole operation profitable.
All right. Someone's asking, can you suggest your fulfillment agent?
Yeah, for sure. The agent that I use is Airlyle Fulfillment, and they've been absolutely amazing. Yeah, sure.
Awesome. And so is that it? Like, so that's supplier in China, you said, but they have fulfillment also in the United States?
Yeah. So the guy, one of the founders or co-founders, he lives in the US, and he has a warehouse in the US as well as China.
Cool. Which markets to start testing in, and at which you were the most successful? And I'll be back in 1 minute. I just have 1 minute.
Yeah, so I initially started testing in the big four. So the initial markets that started working for me was the USA, Australia, and UK. Canada was a little bit slow, but mainly USA and Australia started working for me. And Australia was huge, and that was kind of just due to the fact that the social mission that I supported was, kind of helping Australia out. And then, later on, I started doing a lot more e-packet and stuff like that, just because the way my Facebook pixel optimized or whatever, it kind of seemed that, only targeting, big four or something like that, it kind of stopped working for me. So I had to do just absolutely huge targeting and, have massive audiences. And that's kind of what kept working for me.
Someone's asked, what would be the main factor of your success for this particular store? What was your learning curve that allowed you to gain success right now? And I think it's kind of like a good question, because even like in ESS, we have people who are they're doing like millions per year, right? But they just kind of a lot of the cases they just start kind of like the milk stores. They're not selling them, right? So I think the interesting thing here is that you've kind of like done it pretty quick in terms of the time frame, right? So what is
I would say the biggest factor of success with the store is kind of just the all the elements that you need to have a successful store aligned. So, it was a good product that people actually wanted and liked. Then also, I feel like the brand I created was really good, and it was very relevant towards the product. And then, just having the solid creatives, everything, all three of those different things, kind of just seem to align with align, and that's what I feel like gave me the success with this store. Whereas with previous stores, one of those things was off, whether it's the product that people didn't like, or the website wasn't particularly amazing, or the ads or whatever it was, something didn't align. Whereas with this one, all three of those things kind of just aligned and kind of worked. And then the learning curve that allowed me to gain success was it was a pretty slow process of learning. Like the entire probably year and a half before this store actually started working, I was just building like 6 or 7 different stores and just trying them. So, with all of those, I had learned very valuable lessons, different lessons with every single one. So, I kind of took all the knowledge from those like 7 failed attempts and kind of tried to fix those with this. And, between that and everything, kind of all those different factors just kind of aligning, that's what, I kind of feel led me to the success with this one.
Cool. Have another one here. If your competitor built great user journey funnel regarding pre-purchase, post-purchase, UTC ads, bundling, quantity break discounts, coupon codes, angles, upselling in carts, and on checkout page, would you consider competing with this brand? Question for both.
Yeah, and that's actually exactly what I did. Like the store that I kind of had found this product that was doing well. It was like a really big store. And I actually, through a bunch of research, I found out who the owner was. So, I followed him on Instagram, and I was able to see him posting updates of like how much numbers and stuff he was doing. So my main competitor was doing really well. It actually kind of benefited me, and I was able to also gain success from his success. So, for example, I targeted keywords for his brand on Google ads. So, all the money he was spending on Facebook ads like crazy, people would not buy right off the bat, and then they go to Google it to go back to it, and then all of a sudden my ad shows up. So now this guy just probably paid all this Facebook ad money for me to get a sale from Google ads and stuff like that. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's good, but it's also, kind of bad.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like you just have to be creative in terms of like how you differentiate. So, your branding might be different. Your angle might be slightly different. You just kind of like, you can go after like a different segment of the market. So for example, if we're like in a weight loss niche, right, and everyone is going like after like younger population, like younger people, we might go after older people, right? And we also might find some angles there or some uniqueness about the product that other company doesn't kind of like stress on. So I think you just gotta be creative. I think that validation that there is a demand for a certain product is great, because that means people are paying for it. And so now you just eliminate that like market need out of your equation, and you just gotta focus on marketing and finding that product market fit.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. So you advertise only in big four, right?
That's where I started off, but that kind of stopped working, and I had to end up just doing, like ePacket was working for quite a while. Like one of my campaigns in my ads manager, I have.
Just to make sure, so this is shipping from China, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so mainly shipping from China, and yeah, I had one campaign, a single campaign in my ads manager, spend like $100,000 on a single campaign, because ePacket was just working so well in that specific campaign. And my main target kind of top selling country was initially the USA, but it kind of shifted to the UK recently, and it just kind of UK just skyrocketed.
Yeah. So did you have like personalized like currency, like British pounds, like for UK?
Yeah, so I have like a automatic currency converter on my store. So I was accepting euros, British pounds, Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, and American dollars.
So another question here, and I mean, I think you already answered. I'm sorry, just hopped on the live. What advertising platforms did you use, and what was the main ones?
I used Google Ads and Facebook. Facebook was like the main one, and I just kind of used Google to support that a little bit, and target some main keywords that kind of were mostly relevant to my business, and also some competitor keywords and stuff like that.
How much revenue you've been doing on Google?
I think I didn't do very much from Google, overall. I think I did like 60 grand from Google. But the thing was, it was just way more profitable. Like, I think I only spent 20 grand or something like that on Google Ads to make the 60. So overall, it was a lot more profitable than Facebook. But I feel like Facebook kind of also was used to fuel all of that as well. People re-Googling the business to to come back to it later on and stuff like that.
Can you drop that link for for the app for currency conversion?
It was Vitals.
Oh, Vitals
app. Yeah,
this app was like a bunch of different apps in
yeah, and that one, I also used like the sticky add to cart for it, the animated add to cart button, all sorts of different stuff in it.
Cool, awesome. And so from here, like you want to be like more like in NFT space. You don't want to like grow another e-commerce brand and do it like scale it to like
so that's So those are like the two projects I'm working on, is like the NFTs. And I'm also doing like a men's apparel line, some super custom, like really high quality apparel that you'll wear, like, whether you go to the gym or, hang out at home or, doing whatever. So that's kind of, my long-term project that I'm working on. As well as like the NFTs I'm kind of using to, do that a little bit faster and get some more cash rolling in.
If you want to get a free course on transitioning from dropshipping to 8-figure e-commerce brands, and also on scaling e-commerce businesses with high profitability, there should be a link below. Apply, just fill your information. You will also get access to the private community of 6, 7, and 8-figure entrepreneurs. Now, this link is only for people who already do at least $30,000 per month or more in sales and want to scale their sales, want to scale their profitability, want to avoid banned ad account issues. So if that's you, just apply for that. There should be a link in the description. Click on it, get free resources. It's completely free of charge, and you'll get a lot of value out of it. So make sure you click, get access, and let's get back to the video.
You know what I've talked to like several people that have like brands, and they're doing good numbers, operating specifically like in Canadian market. Like, have you thought about that? Like, are you considering that? Like,
yeah, so that's one thing that I kind of want to focus on with this brand, is not doing, obviously have my own website and doing like direct to consumer. But one thing I kind of want to focus on is just doing a lot more wholesale business. because I think I could, scale that up a lot faster. There's already, one store that I can guaranteed get the products into. So, that's good. And then I have some other contacts with big stores. Like, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it, but it's called Below the Belt, which is a pretty big, clothing store in a bunch of malls here. So, I have a contact that, I could get myself a meeting there. Yeah, that's kind of like my main strategy with that brand is try and get a bunch more wholesale business and try and get them into stores and stuff like that, which I think will help, with the website to kind of, grow that way.
Awesome. So another one here, and we'll probably be wrapping up. Just joined. What's the total revenue of the store and how long it's been running? So it's been running a bit over 1 year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and just over that 1 year, the total revenue was around just shy of like $700K.
$700K, and you sold it for 450.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so the multiple was about it was just above 3.5, something like that, which was a little bit above average because I think the average is like 3 to 3.5x.
Cool. So how many team members did you start and finish with? Have you shared your store link that you sold? Came late to the live video.
It was just me and one virtual assistant. So then I guess all the fulfillment team members, but they're not mine. So yeah, it was just me. I'm not going to share the store link just for the privacy of the new owner.
And you probably have like NDAs and stuff like that go.
Yeah, exactly. I have all sorts of things that could get me in trouble by doing that.
Guys, some very good questions here. So that's awesome. I think that's very inspiring for a lot of people. Not like massive, numbers, but in 1.5 years, I think that's pretty fucking incredible, man.
Yeah, it definitely brought me from having $3,000 to give me a lot more money to basically do whatever I want to do with business now.
You want to take it any break, months or two, and just enjoy skiing and mountains and stuff?
I want to, but I'm just not that kind of person. I just feel like I feel super lazy and unproductive if I'm not doing something.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, thank you so much for joining, guys. Thank you so much for listening in, for asking good questions. Looking forward to your next successes, and I'm glad we were able to help you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You guys have definitely been a huge part of this.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.